All right. Good evening, everybody. So tonight's Zoom call is going to be about following up. And last week, I know that you guys, Lauren and Lindsay, had shared. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, go back and watch that video. But they talked about time blocks and how to be more intentional with your time so that it didn't feel like you were working all of the time. You're constantly working or constantly on your phone. And I think this ties in really well with that because having a good follow-up system is also going to be crucial to that, because if not, you're going to constantly feel like you're always checking in with people or always following up with people, or you're going to be racking your brain for like, who do I need to be following up with? um, One thing that I want to put out there kind of right away is that we have to remember, and I hear this a lot from people like, well, I just don't want to bug them. I don't know how much to check in with them. I don't want to bug people. You are not bugging people, checking in with them on how they're doing with their products. You have to remember that. What will bug them is if they spent $100+ on products and then they didn't get any direction, they didn't get any support from you, and we just kind of left them hanging with things. So, I mean, if you think about it for yourself, which would you rather? Somebody checking in with you and making sure you're doing okay, you can respond when you're able to, or spending a bunch of money on products and then not really knowing what to do with them. Nobody checks in on you, um, all of that stuff. So I think we have to switch our mindset from like, we're not bugging people when we're messaging them about that stuff. When they pay money for their products and we make commission, we make money off of them, it's because of the work that we're doing for them and with them. That's why we get paid. It will feel scammy. It will feel unnatural. It will feel like we just wanted a sale if we are not following up with them, because they're paying not only for the products but for the experience. They're paying for the services that we also provide to them, and that's why we get commissions. And so I think, like, just today, this was all kind of clicking with me. Like, obviously, I've known follow-ups is really important, but as I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it shouldn't feel bad about it, and it will feel scammy. Or I think this is why network marketing gets a bad rap, or why people say, oh, they just want your money or whatever. Well, yeah, if we don't want to be known as the team or the company that just gets a sale and then things disappear, or we disappear, especially because we know that you can't just take how the bottle says to take things and everybody's going to figure it out, because that's not how our products work. Um, our products, as we know, we have to adjust to everybody's body differently. And so we cannot just let them figure that out on their own. Um, I want you to maybe think about a time where you bought something, and you had a really bad experience with it. So I don't know whether maybe that was just like at a fast food place, or maybe that was like a big purchase, or something that you bought, you spent money on, and then you just had a really bad taste in your mouth about it. Um, think about, why was it a bad experience? How was the customer service? What was the communication like along the way? How, like, were there expectations set beforehand about what you were getting, or were you surprised about what you got versus what you thought you were going to get? Um, so I have an example because we've kind of been going through this, but we bought a couch from Ashley Furniture like at least 6 weeks ago, probably 8 weeks ago, and it was on sale. That's why we bought it there, whatever. And they had said it would take like 2 to 4 or 2 to 6 weeks for us to get it. So when you know that up front, you're okay with that, right? If you know the time frame, you're like, okay, I kind of want it right now, but I can wait because I know. So then when they bring it and they deliver it, it's supposed to be a sleeper sectional, and they bring two sleeper parts. So not the chase lounger part, and they don't go together, obviously. So they have to take the other part back because somebody ordered it wrong in the store. So make a long story short, it was a ton of miscommunication. Nobody wanted to give us any direct answers about anything. They reordered it, but then it still took like 4 more weeks for it to come in, even though they told us it was going to be rush shipping and then get it right out to us. I left 2 different messages for a manager. Nobody called me back. And Kyle even said at one point during the experience, like, well, this is why we get what we pay for. Like, we went to a store that was a little bit cheaper instead of going somewhere like Art Van where we got our nice couch for a living room. And so that's kind of what we get. And it just made me think about this whole process with Plexus too. Like, I think people are more likely to stick around if we're setting those expectations beforehand that it's not an overnight fix. And that's where your follow-ups start, is before they even buy the products and they know what they're getting. But our customer service during that whole process has to be on point. We have to be available. We have to respond to them. Now, I don't want you like tied to your phone thinking you have to like shoot them a message every time they respond. That's not what I mean. I mean, we just have to be timely in responding, right? Maybe within 24 hours that we're responding to them. If you're able faster, then great. But keep those things in mind. But then also just you're responding to their concerns. You're setting those expectations. How people feel after the sale is part of the experience. It's part of the money that they're spending. And that's why we have quality products. We also have really quality care. And so we need to take pride in that and take care of our people. I was watching a video today where it was from one of the diamonds, Bethany Scott Spear, and she said like retention and customer care is her wheelhouse. And she didn't, I don't know if she did it purposely or not, but she did not use the word follow-up at all during her video. She kept saying customer care. And I just really liked that because follow-ups can kind of be intimidating. I think sometimes we can avoid them because we feel like I don't want to hear that somebody's not doing well, or I don't know how to help them, or it seems like tedious or monotonous or whatever. But calling it customer care, just it feels so good. It feels so natural, and I just really like. That's what we want to do. We want to provide that for our people. We want them to feel like they're being cared for. And she said, this is how we do the business with integrity, is by caring for our people and following up with our people. Otherwise, it feels scammy, or it feels like we just wanted their money. She also talked about how recruitment is a waste of time if we're not doing the customer care part of it. Like, we spend all of this time building relationships with people, getting them to trust us, talking to them about their health issues, recommending products, walking them through the whole process. And that's a lot of time that we put into it, and it's all wasted unless we're actually doing the after part, right? Because we know that people aren't going to stick with it most likely, or they're not going to be consistent if we're not staying on them about it. So we don't want all that build-up stuff that we're doing to be wasted because they bought it once and we thought, phew, my job is done here. I don't have to do anything else with them. No, your job's just getting started with them. But that's the fun part, is when you get to check in with them and help them and experience the changes alongside of them. She said, if you feel like in your business you're doing the same things over and over and you're getting nowhere, this is probably part of the reason why, is because maybe you're lacking this customer care part of it. And it's also kind of like you're building your business in the sand instead of on a firm foundation, because you aren't laying that foundation for them. So there are going to be, and hopefully you guys all have notepads if you're able to, or if not, pick one up really quick. A couple of things that we want to do, and I'm going to give you like 1, 2, 3, 4 in a second, but before I get into that, a couple of things that we want to make sure that we do is that we have conversations with them before they sign up. So we let them know, and some of this might seem repetitive to you guys, but this is part of that customer care. We let them know about detox. We make sure they know that it's not a quick fix, that we want to work with them, and we will walk them through all of that. And then the next big part, though, too, that, and this is what Bethany was talking about too, and I think our team has been so good about this in the past, is helping those people go silver. So once they get started, talking to them about how we can help them recoup the cost from their initial investment. Do you have 3 friends that might have some health goals or some things they want to change with their health? And talking to them about that. We know, and statistics show, that people are more likely to stick around when they get to silver. Why? Because they have some money in their pocket, right? They're feeling successful and they have money in their pocket. They're more likely to stick around. And I liked this analogy that she shared then too. Like, we talk a lot about in this business how we're planting seeds, and then we grow the plant when they purchase. We're finally, like, the seed is blooming, but then what happens? We can't just let it go and watch it die. We have to continue to water it and make sure that it's getting sunlight. We have to go back and check on it and maybe prune some of the dead leaves off, or whatever it is. We have to have that continual care with it. We can't just let them kind of disappear after we get to that point. So here are kind of like, I would say, the 8 steps or the 8 major like touch points that you should be having with somebody. So number 1 is before they sign up, you're setting those expectations with people. And I know we've talked about this before, so I'm not going to expand on this a whole lot. Number 2 is that first message after they sign up, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you to get started. I'm going to add you to our team page. I'm going to send you some instructions for how to get started. Let me know when your products get here. Just celebrating with them. Number 3 is that we're messaging them when they get their products, and we're sending them all of the instructions on how to take everything, letting them know that it's a lot to read, but it's going to be really helpful information. And then you're going to have a touch point, I would say, in the first 4 to 7 days, no longer than the first week. So that's number 4. And then you're going to have a touch point again at the second week. That's number 5. The third week, that's number 6. The fourth week, that's number 7. And then number 8, I would say, is monthly at least. You should be touching base with them. But also you should be reminding them to contact you sooner if they're having any issues. The exception to that too would be if somebody is not feeling great after a month. You don't want to wait a whole month then after you've been contacting them weekly. Don't wait a whole month. They're still going to need some care, maybe weekly or every other week at that point, until they start feeling better. And then I think you can push it out to a month. I do have some scripts though, and I'm going to try to drop the Google Doc link. I don't know if I can put it in the group chat. I'm going to try to do that and share with you guys too. But I really liked some of these scripts. After they've, here, let me put this in here. I'm going to read them to you, but I don't want you to feel like you have to write it all down. I put the link in there, so hopefully it should be really easy for you to go in and copy and paste. So after they've had maybe 3 days on the product, so I would say your first contact with them after they've started the products, you would say something like, hey Lauren, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing so far. I know it's still early to notice many differences or benefits, but I wanted to make sure you aren't having any issues or struggling with any detox. If so, let me know and we'll work to tweak your dosages and schedule around. Okay, it's pretty simple, but what I like about it is that it puts it up there up front. We're not expecting you to have any changes yet. If we start leading with, hey, are you noticing any changes yet? How are you doing? And they're going to be like, nothing's changed. They're going to think that it's not working for them. So we want to put it out there like, we know that nothing's changing yet, but are you having any detox symptoms? Letting them know that that's also normal. The following week, so this would be like the week 2 touch point. Hey Lauren, how are things going so far? Have you been able to find a good routine that works for you and keeps you consistent with the products? I know that can be tricky at first if you aren't used to taking supplements. Are you noticing or having any detox issues we need to work through? So again, we're letting them know about the detox, that's a normal thing. Also, we're not expecting any changes. We just want to see how they're doing with consistency. You might even remind them about water. Obviously, it depends on how they say they're doing with things. That's not going to be the end of your conversation. It's probably going to start a conversation. The other thing too is don't panic if they don't respond to you. And if they don't respond to you, keep following up with them, especially during this first month. They may have read it and forgot to respond or whatever, but don't take that as a sign like that you're bugging them. No, you're going to keep checking in on them because then you know you're at least doing your job to take care of that person. The following week, so this would be week 3, you could check in with them again and say like, hey, are things still going well? Are you seeing any changes or benefits yet? It might not be anything radically different yet, but take note of even the smallest victories, and the more time you give it and the longer you're consistent, you'll notice more and more benefits. Anything you feel like we need to change or move around. If like the week before they said they were having detox symptoms, then you should probably specifically ask about those detox symptoms this time. I also like to add in there sometimes, I don't think I can put a graphic in here, but when I put this in the team page, I will add the graphic with it too. There's another graphic that kind of is similar to this, and it shows like how to follow up the different weeks. But sometimes I also like to kind of lead them into telling me what some of those maybe smaller changes are for them. So saying like, oh, by week 3, I noticed I was sleeping better, I was craving more water, I was going to the bathroom more regularly, like I my sweet tooth wasn't as strong. So kind of saying some of the smaller things that they might be changing, because if they join for weight loss, they're probably only looking for the scale to move at this point. And so we need to remind them about the non-scale victories. And sometimes they don't even realize those things are happening until we say, have you noticed this? Or have you noticed that? Or maybe this or that. Um, you're welcome, you guys. Yeah, you're welcome. And hopefully we can add to that scripts link too if we find other things that we really like or work. And then week 4, something like, hey, you're almost a month in. I know the first month can seem to be just getting into a routine and finding your sweet spot with everything, but hopefully you're seeing some small changes and feel like you're getting into a good rhythm with things. Months 2 and 3 are my favorite because it's where I really started to see changes and I really feel great. Is there anything you need help with or questions for me at this point? I like that. I like that we set them up for like, yeah, you're just getting into it, but month 2 and month 3 are really great. So again, we're reminding them that this isn't going to happen overnight. It's a process, but we're getting them excited for what's to come, especially if they've already been feeling kind of good. They're like, oh yeah, I'm really excited. And we're also giving them hope if they've had some detox. We're reminding them that it's okay. This is normal for your body. There's still good stuff to come. So those, I think, if we can get the touch points that we need to, at least those main touch points in the first month, it's going to make things so much better down the road for us when we're doing our follow-ups. And again, if somebody's doing really good, you might remind them of their automatic subscription and why that's a good thing and that that's going to run. And then you can push out. You don't need to message them every single week about that. In that follow-up scripts document, hopefully it didn't click me out of my Zoom here. I think, oh no, okay. I'm going to add to that maybe some ideas for messaging people after that month and what you might say to them. I wrote some things down too. Okay, a couple other things that I wanted to just kind of mention when we're talking about follow-ups. And I'll be honest, full disclosure, I have been through seasons where I do really well at follow-ups, and then other seasons where I don't do so well and my business pays for it. Maybe not immediately, but a month or 2 down the road, I'm starting to notice that, oh yeah, I wasn't checking in with those people start falling off. So these are really important. Some other things that I think you should be doing, especially as you're growing your team, sending a welcome message or a welcome video to anybody that's added in your downline. This is something that I did not do. For whatever reason, my team grew really fast. I didn't keep up with it. I was focused on my level 1s, but I would highly recommend doing this moving forward. When you see that somebody's added, go in and add them on Facebook right away. Send them a message like, hey, I'm so excited for you to join our team. I'm here to help you with anything. I'm so-and-so's upline that you joined underneath. They're going to take great care of you, but if you ever have any questions, or I'm always here to help also. I actually made a video. It's like a 1-minute video that I am going to send out to all of my new downlines that are added. So I would suggest figuring out what works best for you, but either doing this, if your team is getting larger, you could do this maybe just at the end of the month where you go into your back office, you pull up your new ambassadors and you send it to all of them in there. Or if you're like really on things and you get that email that says you've got money, go in and do it right away. Send them the video or send them the welcome message like, hey, I'm so excited to have you on my team. We have to be digging deep because you guys, and this is what's kind of happened. I was kind of like realized this over the weekend when there were some messages going on and realized that somebody in my downline who was pretty far down, like a level 4, she had no clue how to take her products. She told me honestly that she had just kind of been guessing because somebody added her and they probably weren't working the business. And so there maybe wasn't a lot of follow-up. I don't really know what happened. But it was my responsibility anyways, because I should have made that touch point with them so that she would have felt comfortable coming to me down the road and saying, I don't really know. So starting those conversations early will make this easier for you along the way. If you have someone that you know is not working the business, but they have added people, this is going to be crucial for you. But honestly, I would do this for anybody. Even if they are working their business right now, they might not be down the road. It's going to benefit you to have a relationship with that person down the road too. And it's going to benefit them because they won't feel like they're just left all out on their own. I would, no matter what, if somebody adds somebody, and maybe they're not working, but they had a friend sign up, I would say, hey, make sure that you send that person you added this getting started message, or put us in a three-way message. I can send her the getting started instructions and kind of help walk them through that beginning message, that beginning month or so. That way they're seeing how you're doing the follow-up and you know that it's getting done, but you're not leaving out that middle link also. I think that this is really important too, but if we try to take all of that on our own, we are going to become control freaks. So I think we need to delegate that to the person who added them. Now, if you don't think that they're following through or they didn't message you and say, hey, I'm not going to do that, or hey, I will do that, then you should probably still message that level 2 or level 3 on your own. But delegate that out to the ambassador that added them. They're getting a bonus for adding them, okay? And whether they're in this for the business or not, whether you're in this for the business or not, you still have a duty to take care of the people that are added on your video. And that's not something that I've been like super blunt with in the past. And I'm also okay with taking on some of that, but people need to take responsibility too. If they're going to get paid for it, they're going to make a little bit of money off of that. They can at least forward some messages on or connect us in a three-way message. And that's not asking too much, you guys. I would say, let me see if there was anything else that I wanted to touch on. So the next part, what I was going to do, but since there's not a ton of us on here, I think that I will just post the tasks in the team page when I upload the video there. But it was going to be more of a working part where you could get into your back office and it was going to give you some tasks for you to go and do. I'm not going to get into that right now. But what I will say is that you need to get yourself a calendar. And if Lauren and Lindsay talked about this last week, this is going to go in hand with that. You need to pick a day of the week that you are going to do follow-ups, whether that's every Monday for you or every Friday for you. Write it on your calendar. Follow-up Friday or follow-up Monday or whatever it is. Every week, that's going to remind you to do your follow-ups on those days. If you have a new person that joined within that month, you're going to maybe write their name like Sarah, week 1, Sarah, week 2, Sarah, week 3, Sarah, week 4, so that you know she's getting those 4 touch points right away in that first month. And then otherwise, when you're doing your follow-ups, if you want to do them all at one time and you can sit down and count them all out, more power to you. If that seems really overwhelming to you, then I would try to do a few each time, depending on what your back office looks like. This should be for customers and ambassadors. You should be following up with both of them the same way, honestly. We've got about 10 minutes left. I got the 10-minute warning, but that's okay. So you're going to put that on your calendar because when we schedule things in, we are more likely to be committed to it and to stick with it. Decide when you're going to message your new downlines, whether that's right away or if that's going to be at the end of the month. You're going to add that on your calendar also. If it's been a while and you haven't been following up with people and you're like, oh crap, how do I get back into this? Honestly, I just say something really short and honest, like, hey love, I'm so sorry that it's been so long since I have talked to you. I really should have checked in with you sooner and I'm sorry that I didn't. I wanted to see if you're still using any of your Plexus products. It might be time to evaluate what you're using, how you're feeling, or if we should change anything around to get you more or better results. And I think that that's a really good way to just take responsibility for it, and then let them know, hey, I'm here to help. Tell me what you're taking, tell me how you're taking it, and let's make sure that you're getting the results that you want. You might have to do that with your whole downline if you haven't been following up, and that's okay. If you followed up with somebody last month, but you haven't yet this month, I would say something kind of open-ended like, hey, tell me about how you're feeling with these products. Give me the good and the bad. I still love that I am powered without caffeine and I don't have that sugar craving constantly. I also sleep really good. Have you noticed any of this? And I'll even do this sometimes with my people who have been ambassadors for a while, because I will ask them how it's going, and they've been ordering consistently, but when I ask them how they're doing, they're like, "It's good. I'm doing great." And I'm like, "Tell me more about that." Because I want to know what they're liking about their products too, and making sure that they're getting the results that we want them to be getting. If you don't have a big list of customers or ambassadors, go to the team page and look at the messages. I think Lauren posted them yesterday that you can be sending to your potentials list, and work on sending those messages. If you feel like, okay, I've done all my follow-ups, I feel like I need to be doing more, send thank you messages to everybody. That is considered a follow-up. That's part of customer care. Send a message to everybody who ordered this month and just say, thanks for your order this month. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you supporting me and my family with your business through your order this month. Just doing something genuine and sincere like that is never going to bug people, you guys. So those are some things that you can work on, and that I just want you to consider when it comes to customer care and taking good care of our people. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can read this chat here. Yes, Lauren said, I feel like the honesty helps cut the awkwardness. Acknowledge you slipped up, and then at least that part's out of the way. Right. Don't pretend like you've been checking up on them the whole time. I can unmute you guys, or unmute yourself if anybody has anything that they want to say or share. You can do that now. We've got about 6 minutes left.
I love these tips, Brooke. I think it's super important to be, I don't know, the follow-up process really is very comprehensive, and there are a lot of steps to it, which is why it's so helpful to get organized with it, and even mapping that out. And like as soon as somebody joins, or as soon as they get their products, going into your calendar and just marking down dates with reminders, especially with those scripts that you provided, like that's super helpful. And then you could just even do like the personal touches in between then, where you're just saying, hey, I just was thinking about you. So it doesn't feel like you're always only messaging them about just Plexus.
Right.
But like taking care of both sides of that, so the relational side, and then the the Plexus side of that relationship as well. And then I definitely like the idea about the thank you messages. So if you literally get to a point where you're running out of follow-ups to do, whether it's with potentials or with new customers or anything like that, then moving on to just thanking people, and that definitely goes a long way. So I like all of this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You are welcome. And yeah, so you guys, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, finding out what works for you, whether that's putting them in your calendar and your phone right away, or writing them on your planner if you have a planner, if you need to follow up with them. Or I got to the point where I just wasn't keeping up with my calendar, but if you can go to your back office and print off your, export it to Excel and print that off and do your follow-ups that way and check that stuff off too. So if anybody needs like extra help finding that stuff or figuring out where that's at, message myself, or Lauren's really, really good in the back office too. So either of us could help you with that afterwards if you have any questions about that. The welcome message, Jamie, are you talking about the one just for the people that I add, or for anybody on my team?
Yeah, like your welcome video thing, that I thought that was a really good idea. Or even like making a recorded one or a YouTube one that you can send, I like that idea, because there is like, I have one person on my team that's rock solid. I don't have to worry about her follow-up issues, but I have a lot of people that get like 1 or 2 people, they sign them up because there's codes, right? We got these codes.
Yeah.
They sit there and they drop off. And so I was trying to figure out a way to reach out to them that wouldn't be like overstepping the person that invited them, even though that person's not, because I get a lot of messages from my that AIM thing.
Yeah.
And so
people aren't following up.
Yeah. And then I look in my back office and retention goes down the drain, and trying to figure out how to do that with reaching out to them. So I was wondering, do you send that to people like say Lauren is really good with follow-up, not doing those ones, but
Yeah.
maybe Mary Jane over here that's signing up people, but they're not staying. Would you like reach out to those people?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that I just started, Jamie. I don't know. I just like kind of on the way home from Maui, I had this like revelation that I just need to be following up with these other people, because for so long I only focused on my level ones. And then like the people who were working in my other downlines, but I've lost so many people and realized people just didn't know what to do with their products. So yes, I have a few strong legs like that I know for sure they're following up with because we've been in contact. And so I'm not gonna send it to their people because I want them to be leaders and send that to their own people. And maybe I would send them like a quick Facebook message instead, just saying hi, but not the video. But I can send you guys the video. Jocelyn asked for it too, but I can send it to you also, Jamie.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and I am planning to send it to everybody like who's not in my strong legs. I would say sending it to anybody in their downline, and it's not really overstepping any boundaries. I don't think it's mostly just saying this is who I am, letting them know that it's not a cookie cutter recipe, and that I'm here to help. That their sponsor is going to give them great support, but if they ever need anything, I'm here too. So I think it just adds that personal touch. I do send like a little message with it, like, hey, just wanted to introduce myself to you, because I think if I just sent a video that didn't have any message, people might think like it was like a scam video or something. Like, so I want them to open it. So I sent just a brief little message to go with it. And I've also been working on, because I have not done this in the past, I made a separate video for all of the people who were added like the beginning of the year that I never touched base with. Introducing myself to them, but that's a little different than the new, like brand new welcome video that I'm going to be sending to all of my new people. And that's something that I'm just going to keep up with. So I will send that to you guys also. All right. Does anybody else have any thoughts or questions? We have like 1 minute left. So unmute yourself or type in the comments if there's anything else. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate all of you taking the time to get on. I know that it's a big commitment. I know that it gets late for some of you and you have so many other things that you could be doing, but I promise you that you will never regret making these calls a priority. We don't want them to seem like a waste of your time. We want you to always feel like you're getting something out of them. And so we just really appreciate you putting this time and effort into your business. I hope that you guys all have a great night. I will post this recording if you have anybody that you're like, I want to share this with them, or you want to rewatch it. We'll put it up in the team page tomorrow. So otherwise, I hope you guys have a great night, and thanks for your participation.